Okay, guys, we are live. I'm Jake Robinson with Amazon Live Hangouts, and I have Pilar Newman as a guest with us tonight. This is your FBA private label sellers style live hangout. We talk about mostly private label, but we also interview experts, different fields. We've talked about retail arbitrage and a lot of different things. Pilar is going to give us a breadth of experience over 7 years selling on Amazon. And let's take a look and see what, let me make sure the chat is turned on. Okay. We've got 51 people. There's Henry says hi. You guys can use it. You can use the chat feature to introduce your questions. We will answer all your questions. I will keep up with your questions. If you put your question in and I don't immediately ask it, it's not because I forgot it. It might be just because my phone's ringing. It might be because it's just not the right time to answer that question. I may be looking for, let me turn my phone off. Okay, sorry about that. Unprofessional. Put your phone on stun, please.
I already have mine on.
All right. Also, so put your question in, and we will circle back around for it. If you guys will let us know where you're from, I'd be interested to see what part of the country or what country you're from. And we got about 56 people in the room. I see Greg and Rob and Lewis and Ollie, Walter, Henry, David, Christina, Adam, HS. There's a bunch of folks in here. But if you don't mind, guys, just in the chat room, tell us where you're from. Okay.
Oh, Adam, that's awesome. You're welcome. I'm happy that you're finding the content that I'm sending out to be good information. Thank you.
Good deal. And then a couple house notes, housekeeping tips. If you're better off coming into the room with Chrome, so if you guys have any buffering or screen freezes, don't use Internet Explorer. Firefox is not that great. Use, go ahead and use Chrome. And if you lock up, just log out and log right back in. You'll miss a few minutes. There will be a replay of this webinar. It will come out about 24 hours after the fact. Because we've had an upgrade, Pilar, on our platform, okay, they can do some amazing things. There's a lot of new features we can use. However, one glitch they have is on the replay, the control panel won't let you back up or go forward. You ever seen one of those video players where you're watching the video, and if you bail out or stop it, or maybe if your screen freezes, your browser crashes, you have to start at the beginning. Oh. Very nauseating and frustrating.
Ouch.
And so I've got a different way to do it, but I have to delay the replay link for like 24 hours so I can render the video and then give it in a YouTube fashion so people can stop it and rewind it and fast forward it. And hopefully they're going to fix that glitch. But until then, the replay link is going to be a little slower than normal. Shelly is out of Hopewell Junction, New York, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house.
All right. You're a Brooklyn lady. You're in Brooklyn, right?
I'm in Williamsburg, actually. Yes, I'm in Brooklyn.
Okay. Tom from Las Vegas. Russell from Antigua. That's a country, yeah.
Guatemala. There we
Alexander
go.
And is that
Antigua, another one. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Nepa or is that Nepal? Is Alexander in Nepa, whatever that is. Maybe you know where that is. He says hello. How can they get on your mailing list, Pilar?
Yeah, if you actually, I'm putting up a little sticky note here right now. Okay. If you just go to my website at pilarnewman.com, did it go public? I'm not sure. I can't tell here.
Yeah, it did. It did.
All right. So if you just go to my website, I have a little sign up there on the right-hand side that just says sign up to the VIP newsletter, and I send it out every Tuesday.
Steve's in Daytona, Mark's chilling in Wisconsin. Pittsburgh, PA, Melissa, Cole in Mexico. Cool. Zach in Los Angeles. Upstate New York, Georgia, opposite bookends. another New York. Dennis, Orange, California. Pennsylvania. Jerry's in Austin, Texas. Christina's Florida. David from Michigan.
Nice.
Shelly from New York. We got a lot of New Yorkers. Greg in North Carolina. Annette, Brooklyn, New York. There you go. Another one. You guys need to have a little meetup down there.
Seriously, I'm starting to think about this now.
Henry from Brooklyn. Wow. San Diego. Chachi. Michael from Singapore. You probably get our furthest away prize. Kay from Chicago. Brian from New Jersey.
Nice.
Lewis, it's Louis. Louis and Lewis? Lewis and Louis. It's okay. All right. So here, guys, we're going to ask you to provide questions because I, like a investigative reporter or a prosecuting attorney, I'm going to ask a lot of questions, Pilar, and I'm going to drill down. I warned you, but I'll be friendly and nice about it.
I'm ready.
And so, well, let's do this. Just give us some background of who you are. I mean, where'd you come from? How did you get in this business? You've been doing it for 7 years. That's quite a while.
7 years now. Yeah, for sure. First off, hi, everyone. It's nice seeing everyone from coming in from all over right now. So I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, just so you know. But I've been in Brooklyn for the last 2 years, and I lived in San Francisco for 2 years as well. My story is a lot different than how some other people started. Jake, when my nephew was 7 years old, he actually, you know, I would go over there and I'd say, okay, hey, what do you want for Christmas this year? And him and his dad put together a little Christmas list. And you know how kids, they have 10, 20, 50 items on that Christmas list. But there was one toy on this list that he had starred. And he said, I want you to get me this one. This is what I want. And I was like, okay, I'll go get you that gift. And back then I wasn't making a lot of money. I was doing my 9 to 5, you know, working my 50K job. And I went looking for it at the stores, could not find it, was asking every associate in the world, like, do you know where this toy is? Do you know where this toy is? Nope, nope, nope. So I went back to him and I said, hey, where did you find this toy? Where did you look at it? And you know, kids these days, he gets online and he's like, goes to Amazon and he shows me this toy. And so I was like, oh my gosh, all right. I was like, I'll try to get this toy for you. It was, I think this little toy was about $40. It was a tiny little thing. And in my mind, I'm like, you know, I only make so much money per month. And I'm not trying to be cheap. I'm just trying to stretch my cash. So I'm going to go online and I'm going to try to Google this, go to every single possible link I can go to find this toy. It took me a few hours of going from link to link to link to actually find the toy. And I looked at the price compared to what was on Amazon. And it was kind of one of those like enlightening moments where the little light bulb goes over your head and you're just like, wait a second, maybe I can make a few dollars extra than to pay for the toy. So I ended up buying, I think it was a carton of 10 or 12 of these toys. I saved one for him and I started an Amazon account. And the remaining 11 or 10 that I had just immediately sold out. And I think I made about $150 or $200 at that point.
So you actually did online arbitrage as your very first.
I mean, yeah. And that's without, I just didn't know anything about Amazon really at that point. It was a matter of, I just did not want to pay this amount of money for this little toy. So
you found this little toy somewhere at another off-brand site for a lot less, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to even remember where that first site was. It was somewhere that I Googled, some shopping site or whatever.
An e-commerce site.
Some e-commerce site. And I mean, they sent me the items and I put it up on Amazon. That's how it started. So wow. I guess, yeah. So then I guess what happened after that was, you know, as any little kid, when Christmas came, his face lit up and he was so excited. And the funny thing is I'm sitting there being excited with him. And then I'm like, hey, by the way, what other toy do you want?
You little sorcerer.
Like,
Come here, my little sorcerer.
Is there another toy that you want? You know, because I realized that this was a line of toys. It was a bunch of characters and whatnot. And so then he gets online again. He says, oh, this is another one in that same line. And I did the same thing, and it just kind of like started from there. And then, you know, months later, I got to the point where I found out exactly where it was coming from. And I got to tell you, I continue to sell that product today. It's the only item that I've sold since I started selling on Amazon this entire time. Kind of crazy.
You still sell it?
It blows my mind because I don't have another product that has withstood 7 years worth of selling online, and it's gone through ups and downs. I'm talking like the price points have gone crazy.
So if you told us what it was, would I recognize it? Would I know it? Oh, that's from a movie, or would we know about?
I don't want to give it away.
No, I'm not asking you to tell me. I'm saying if you did, would I recognize it?
I don't think so. Only because, you know, kids these days, it's a foreign brand toy. And honestly, I don't even know how he found out about it. I don't know how kids do their little inner circles where they find out about these toys overseas. So I don't think that you would know about it unless you maybe have kids that are interested in this particular toy and this particular niche. But it opened up a whole nother world for me, and I pretty much started from there.
Okay. I noticed the chat room is not moving that much. Are you guys riveted to the screen, or you just don't have anything to say, or do we have a glitch? So if you guys want to say things in the chat room, you're welcome to. You can make comments, feedback. And by the way, if anybody is logged in on their Gmail account, if you want to come on live and talk with us and come on for a few minutes, we can do that. If you have a discussion or question you want to ask Pilar. So what did you do next then? You did that. Did you realize you were doing a business, or were you just doing this for some part-time income?
I was just trying to get some extra money. You know, it wasn't, in my mind at that time, it wasn't something that I said, I'm going to start a business or a full-time business or any of that stuff. I was working for a book distribution company selling books to schools. And that was going fine. I was working with someone who had promised me, you know, hey, I'll make you a partner in the business if you help me out. I was his only salesperson, and we grew the business to 1.1 million. And it was exciting to see because, you know, being the only salesperson there, you realize that you're doing the majority of the work and getting it going, but I wasn't getting exactly the payout that I wanted. And that frustration with the job and with him made me start looking at my Amazon as a business now. It was the first time that I really looked at it and I said, you know what? I'm so fed up with my job. My 9-to-5 is killing me. I'm doing everything I need to do, and I'm not getting compensated properly.
What were you doing, by the way?
What was I doing?
Yeah, what was your corporate rat race job?
I was working for a startup out in Roxbury, Massachusetts, and we were I was cold calling to schools and selling, reading novels to them. Textbooks to them. And I had some big accounts. I mean, I ended up calling to different states. And I mean, I had accounts that were $60,000 to $80,000 accounts. And then I had accounts that were $1,500 a year account. But that's what I was doing full time. So I'd sit in the office doing these cold calls, getting the orders in, and he'd come in for a minute and is that a motorcycle? That's a motorcycle. We're in Williamsburg over here, and it's pretty hot, so you got a little bit of the door open.
Getting real with us.
But you know, he'd come in. I'd be in the office, and then he'd come in for a minute, and he'd say, "Okay, how many sales did you do today? Oh, great, we're bringing in numbers. Awesome. Okay, now I'm gonna go out and play golf with my buddies." And that
was the boss, right?
That was the boss. Yeah. I hope he's kind of not watching this video, but anyways, if he is, it's been 3 years later now. I've been doing this full time for a little bit, but you know, that frustration sometimes of being in a position where you know that you're really giving your all and you feel that you're not getting enough back. That's what led me to kind of see Amazon as a legitimate business opportunity. Otherwise, I wasn't really looking for it. But,
so here's the big thing about jobs. I mean, this is the long-term standoff. Employees tend to work just hard enough to keep from getting fired, and employers pay you just enough to keep you from quitting. That's the
Yeah.
great American standoff. And it's,
Yeah.
you know, even if you work hard and give extra and you're better than the next guy, you still, they don't want you to move up because they want you to keep doing that work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times your boss is the one that says, hey, great job. They take they take credit for all your successes, and then when you screw up, you're the one that gets blamed for it. And if you're doing really great, it's difficult for a boss to want to help you get promoted, because if they promote you, then they just take away their workhorse.
Yeah.
So you probably figured that out. So how long were you doing this part-time or whatever until you started thinking, well, hey, this could be a way out of this rat race?
I was doing it on and off on the side for 4 years, and that was because I had been at my last job for 5 years, and it was great to know that, like, okay, I get a monthly paycheck from my 9 to 5, and then I'm also making an extra $500 to $900 a month on this particular product that was just selling on autopilot. And then, you know, I started to get, you know, a little bit more like, all right, well, let me go see if there's other things I could sell. I started getting on Craigslist, scouring the Craigslist, you know, people are selling all sorts of stuff. And I knew books back then. So I said, let me go and find some books to sell. There was this one particular lady in Massachusetts who lived in a very beautiful house. And she was just about to sell her house, and she was selling her entire library of books for $400.
Whoa.
I called my mom up and I said, hey, Mom, can you help me? Can you bring your car? I'll bring my car as well. Let's drive up 45 minutes away to this lady's house, and let's take a look at her books. I went there, and it was a mansion. I mean, it actually took me me and my mom 3 times to go back, get all the books. And from that point, I think I made about $900 off of the $400 investment. And this was all prior to FBA.
I was going to ask you that. That was a question that Charmaine asked. Did you send those toys in originally as a merchant fulfilled or FBA?
No, you know what? FBA came out, I want to say, now don't quote me on this, but I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years after I started selling on Amazon. So everything I was doing at this point was merchant fulfilled. So, I mean, if you really do factor in the amount of time I spent sourcing and packaging this stuff and getting it to the mail before I started work, there was a lot of time involved in this. And just like any other business, it does take a lot of effort, time. And at the beginning, you're not really making as much as you would like per hour. But for me, who wasn't making that much money, a few $100s a month was a lot of money to me. And so I continued doing that.
Pilar, my background is financial services. I actually sit down and help people invest their money and buy term life insurance and all that good stuff. And the stats that I've read is that an extra $500 a month in somebody's budget is it's something like 70% of divorces are based on just a difference. It's financial. An extra $500 a month would probably keep people in a marriage. And it's a big deal.
Yeah.
An extra $500 to $1,000 a month.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, to me, it meant so much, especially, you know, with the high cost of living on your own and not making so much money as much as you would like at your job. It was a big deal to me. So, I mean, that's pretty much how I got started on Amazon. And I'm actually even trying to remember my next points after that, because sourcing on Craigslist back then was really profitable. I went through a bunch of different book sales, and for the time being, book sales were my thing. Book sales and this particular line of toy products. Now, I think at some point I saw something online about Alibaba or AliExpress. And
okay. I'm gonna have to interrupt you. Hold that thought, because I promised I would do something for you. And when you said Alibaba, it made me think of traveling to China.
Oh, yeah.
and sourcing products.
Oh,
hey guys, I want
to
apologize, because somewhere along the line when I read Pilar's backstory, She said, "Oh, I started with less than $1,000 from scratch, and now I'm traveling to India and China and Maldives, and I could have swore she said she was sourcing some products over there. She did not travel to India or China or the Maldives, and what was the other place? Bali, specifically to source products. You did it because, hey, this business gave you the freedom, financial freedom, to experience life and maybe go there for pleasure."
Yeah, so basically I do a lot of different traveling, and here's the thing. I always talk about keeping your eyes open and just kind of letting things happen as they happen. So yes, I did go because Amazon FBA is taking care of all of my business stuff, and I can go and travel the world if I want. But I also am keeping an eye out for some items that I am starting to source overseas in different countries outside of China. India has been a main interest to me because you can't find everything online. So when you incorporate travel, if you can do some traveling internationally, you will find a lot of different things that you can bring in and really, set yourself apart from some of the competition out there on Amazon. So this year, it's been a priority for me to do more traveling and to keep my eyes open about where I can source new items that will set me apart from the competition.
Well, I want to apologize for putting that on the web. When I create a webinar, this particular software, whatever you put in the very first thing, it won't let you change it. I don't know why. So some of the posts on Facebook said you were sourcing from China and India. And if you're over there and you're not looking for products anyway, then I'd say you're crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
What was probably your secondary thing. And if you were sourcing, then you could write your trips off as a business deduction. All right, so go back to
Wait, can I just mention one thing real quick?
No, you can't, but go ahead.
No, because just to say this one thing, when I was in Bali, and I think I wrote this, I sent an email out in my newsletter. There was I almost decided to bring in the luwak coffee, which is supposed to be one of the most expensive coffee beans that you can produce and buy. It's like a special animal that basically runs wild, and they pick up the coffee beans, they eat it, and then it comes out in their poop. And people go around picking
delicious. This. I can't.
People go around picking this. I tried it when I was in Bali. It wasn't too bad, actually.
You did put it through a filter, though, right?
Huh?
You did put it through a filter first.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw them do the whole cleaning. And
it's kind of like bird's nest stew.
Yeah. I mean, no, I actually haven't, but
they take bat poop and make some kind of soup out of it. So there's a lot of exotic things that you would pay premium money for.
And that was actually my thinking with this particular coffee. And I did speak with people over there. But at the end of the day, I decided against it for various reasons. I actually noticed there were a few competitors on Amazon already private labeling this item. And it looks like there must have been a PETA group out there that just went and killed a bunch of those listings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, so I mean, it was an idea. I had a name and this and that, and I knew where to get it, but I decided against it. So
I wonder if they could get away. How long ago was that? Was that recent?
Yeah, I was in Bali in March. Was it? Yeah, I think it was March or February. I've actually been traveling quite a little bit, but I do believe Bali was March.
So how did PETA get away with wiping out listings? Were they complaining to Amazon and Amazon acquiesced or what? Now
this is an assumption, because what happened was, if you go to some of the listings, if you actually look up the Luwak coffee, LUWAK, on Amazon, there's a few private label listings on there, and you will see that there's a group that kind of went through some of them, gave everybody down. Yeah, and they pretty much said, no, these animals are caged. Don't buy this coffee. The animals aren't treated properly, and all this and that. And actually, that's what made me. What kind of animals? I mean, they kind of look like a cross between like a raccoon and a ferret or something. I mean,
oh yeah, that's an animal we really need to protect right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, everyone has their thoughts about this, but that was an item that I had considered until I went on Amazon. I was
You
like,
just
oh
need to
no.
list your thing as, you know, free range poop, free range ferret, raccoon like animals that are not in cages.
Well, people did that, and they still got knocked. So I was like, all right, I'm staying away.
Well,
Anyway.
that's interesting because that is a, you know, you wonder why people get suspended. I got a good friend that he lost his account and he still doesn't know why, even after 25 emails back and forth with Seller Central, and they have still not determined. He has no determination on what he did wrong, and it could have been somebody complaining, and who knows. All right, so do you want to backtrack, swim back to Alibaba?
Yeah, sure.
You were saying you discovered Alibaba at some point.
Yeah, I did. You know, the toy item that I was selling was doing really, really well. I think what most people realize when they start this kind of business is that you do need some sort of a financial investment to really get it going, because you can be bringing in products, sending it to Amazon, you're waiting for that money to come, but then you see another opportunity, you're like, oh my God, where do I get this money? So I only had a few, like literally a few $100s extra to spare, and that was even pushing it. I had seen somewhere about Alibaba or AliExpress, and I think I got on AliExpress first. And honestly, I bought a couple of things because at that point I just didn't even know. I was pretty ignorant, had no clue what I was buying. I just saw something that was really low cost, and I'm like, oh, I can throw this on Amazon. I bought something real quick. It came express mail a few days later.
You did it through AliExpress, not Alibaba.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started on AliExpress first. I kind of had used both sites at different points throughout the 7 years, but AliExpress, it was pretty much, here's the item, here's the price, shipping's included. And I said, yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I want. Brought it in.
Michael just says that animal's called a civet, civet, C-I-V-E-T.
It might be, you know what, I can't even remember exactly what the name of that animal was, but yeah.
Well, that's what Michael says it is. Michael, do you want to come on and spar with Pilar on what the name of this animal is? So anyway, you found this cheap item on AliExpress.
Yeah.
Did it complement what you were already doing, or you just saw something you liked?
No, and you know what? That actually brings me to a very good point, because right now I know the big thing is private labeling. Now, 7 years ago when I started this, everyone was pretty much doing it because they were just learning how to, they were just trying to flip a dollar. That was the mentality back then. Hustle your way up, you know, just turn $1 into $1.50, turn $1.50 into $3. And that was my mentality. And it actually continues to be my mentality to this day. So the private labeling stuff right now, it kind of just turned over the last, I would say maybe 3 years, which now I am doing more heavily of. But my product range is pretty much all over the board, and it's all under one account. Just recently.
So how many? Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how many private label products do you have?
I have about 8 to 12 or so.
Wow.
And then, yeah, because you actually don't need that much to actually, you know, the 80-20 rule that everyone talks about.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You're testing out a few items. I'll test out items in quantities of about 250 pieces. If it doesn't work, that's okay. I'm moving on to the next one. But I sell a few thousand items of only 2 different products. And then I sell a few hundred items per week of another few items. And all that, you know, creates the kind of income, the monthly income where you can make a 6-figure income. You don't need to have, you don't always need to have 100, 200, 250 items. You just have to find an item that you can flip at a very fast rate at a very good profit.
So you're still doing retail arbitrage, I take it, or online arbitrage?
No, I'm actually not. I stick to that one product that I bought, that one toy product, because it constantly produces me anywhere from, I would say, about $2,500 to $3,200 in profit a month, consistently.
Nice little
And
house
so,
payment.
exactly. That's my apartment payment right here. But it pretty much, well, New York is crazy. But so I kind of actually lost my train of thought. But yeah, so that item. So I don't do retail arbitrage other than that one item. I think that there are a lot of
You were saying that you were saying that you still do that one product, but you have 8 to 12 PL products. But what do you have other products besides that?
I have a couple of random other products, which basically I normally am testing out anywhere from maybe 2 to 5 products every 2 or 3 months.
Are they still private labeled, or they're just products that you think you can?
No, when I'm first testing them out, it pretty much is just kind of like getting it quickly and putting it up online because you just kind of want to see if it's going to sell. It's a no frills game kind of thing for me. And again, my mentality doing Amazon is a little different than maybe some other people's mentality. The name of the game for me is I'm trying to make an income, I'm trying to survive, and I'm trying to do really well, and I'm trying to flip a dollar. So if I can find an item that can produce me $5,000 to $7,000 of profit a month, then I'm getting that item, and I'm investing heavily in that item. So I do have a line of item right now that has a lot of different variations that I do sell about 1,000 to 1,500 a week of this particular line. And then I have another few items that I sell a few hundred per week.
So can you give us like what broad category the products are in, or is that too?
They're all over. I know I'm trying to say it without giving away. I do a lot of toy products. I do a few jewelry items.
Okay.
I do some like arts and crafts type stuff. And I think those 3. Oh, and I actually have one main product line that I actually brought in by sea recently, which I did post on my website.
Oh, you brought a container in. I saw that.
I brought a container in, yeah, and that actually is sitting in the industrial category.
Oh, neat. That seems like it would have lower competition because it seemed first it's gated, right?
It is gated. I think you have to have 50 items. They say you have to have 50 items to get into that category. And you have to send them a spreadsheet with what you intend to sell, the SKUs for those. And I think it only took about 2 days for me to actually get ungated in that category.
So Greg says, so you're doing wholesale then with your products. Is that true?
Wholesale? Not on Amazon. No, that's incorrect.
Okay. Because what you're doing, I think, let me see if I get this straight. Are you still going, when you go doing these 2 to 5 that you're testing in a month, I guess, is that through AliExpress to start off with too? Or are you sourcing directly from Alibaba?
Sure. So let me, I guess, backtrack a little bit and explain. So at the beginning, I was sourcing a lot through AliExpress and Alibaba. Then I decided to go to China a couple of years ago. I met with some of the vendors that I had been working with on Alibaba and AliExpress. And just being in China, I found out about other companies, manufacturing companies, other agencies that help you bring in items. I started working with some of these agencies. And then I started this past year working direct with a manufacturing company for the large container item. So I'm sourcing things at the Yiwu Commodity Center, using my agents to help tell me this is where you go for the manufacturing company that will white label a product for you, and you don't have to bring in 1,000 or 1,500 of this. You can actually bring in 500 or 200 of these. Obviously, the cost is going to be a little bit more expensive, but if I have a product that I can bring in, and let's say I pay $350 for this particular product, even if I air freight it, which the majority of my products are air freighted except for this first container shipment. To me, it doesn't matter if I know that I can still make, $3, $4, $5 on repeat on this particular item. So I have a lot of agents working for me right now.
So on a $350 cost product, what would the shipping typically be on something like that? I know it depends on weight, but. Yeah,
no, I mean, that's a broad question because it definitely depends a lot on weight. On the container shipment, actually, I had a lot of items that cost about, I had 6 SKUs on that one, starting at 99 cents, upwards of, I think the highest one was about 450-ish. And a 20-foot container, that cost me about $4,700, and that included duties, taxes, and that sort of stuff. When I air freight items, I do very, very lightweight items for a reason. One of my best-selling items, I can actually fit it in an envelope. So my freight charge is not that heavy. I'm talking about $250 upwards to $750, depending on the quantity of this I'm bringing.
Is that the container or is that AliExpress?
That's the AliExpress. The
Okay.
container cost me about $4,700.
So I'm trying to get it down to the per unit cost. If a unit costs $350, what is a shipping about the same?
That depends on the volume.
I get it, but you're talking
Okay.
about. But I'm basing on what you're saying. So as a prosecuting attorney here,
Sure.
you're saying that you might bring in 200 to 500 because your agent has hooked you up with a company that they don't have large MOQs or minimum order quantity. So even those lower price, even at lower quantities, I'm just wondering, is it double? Is it usually about what you pay for the item costs $350? You're paying around $300 or $450, or is it more like 7 to 10 items? 7 to 10.
Yeah, you're looking at some items are being about some of the items are about 1.5 in terms of the shipping costs. But I'm talking like some of these items might cost me. My best-selling item actually cost me about, if you're looking at the product cost, it's about 25 cents.
Okay.
But when you're actually looking at when he air freights everything in, it comes up to about 57 to 67 cents for that item when you do it per the item.
And the reason I wanted to ask that question, because a lot of folks out there they get hung up on, oh, I'm going to ship something by air and it's going to cost me another $3 per unit. All you really care about is expensive. Well, yeah, let's say it costs $3 a unit, and then it costs you the cost of the product, and then another $3 a unit to ship it. AliExpress, that's $6. You say, oh my gosh, the shipping as much as. I don't really care. I look at it as it costs me $6 an item. Can I sell it for 15 or 20? So, or look at it this way: it cost you $6 an item, and the shipping was free. What does it matter? It's just
So I actually have a very good example now that we're talking about this. And I posted this on one of my blog posts back at the end of 2013, or actually in the summer of 2013. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the Rainbow Loom. Are you familiar with the Rainbow Loom? The toy that is basically the arts and crafts toy that the kids were using little rubber bands to make bracelets.
They have a loom.
Yeah. Looming. So that particular item, that was one of my best-selling items. I brought in generic little colored rubber bands. There were tons of like glitter rubber bands, this and that. I white labeled that. Now, here's the thing. That particular item was a very fast-moving item. So if I had wanted to bring a container in, and do the nice labeling, the brand, and this and that, it would have taken me a few months. I hit it right at the peak, right where they were getting all this different news coverage, this and that. And I immediately got to one of my agents, had them just kind of get a few color sets going on for me. And I air freighted rubber bands. Can you imagine how heavy that is? It's very heavy to air freight rubber bands. But because the demand was so large, I just took the chance and I made a killing on that. Later on, a few months down the line, I did notice that people now started coming in with their more proper white labeled items for these rubber bands. But I had made a killing of it right at the beginning because I air freighted those items in.
All right, Pilar, I've got to answer a couple questions that.
Go ahead.
With nomenclature, because people are asking, well, what is white label versus private label? And white label, guys, is basic, and you can correct me if I get off on this, but white label is basically the manufacturer's already producing this. It's not like they're holding a patent on it. They don't really care who sells it, and you don't have to put a logo on it if you don't want to. It'd be like a salt and pepper shakers or whatever. You could sell that white label, you could put your label on it, but it's not, some other guy can buy a case of it right after you bought a case and sell it on Amazon as well. So it's not like you have a special, you don't have any control over it. Other people can sell. Is that what you would consider white label versus private label? You're going to do something to it where it's your own. And by the time you get done with it, you've made some adjustments on the product, maybe some improvements. You've got your a label and a brand that you've developed, and somebody else just can't just waltz in and order the same item and resell it. And basically like silicone gloves. To me, silicone gloves is more like a white label product versus a private label. What's your take on that?
That's a general understanding of what the differences are. I mean, white label, this manufacturing company basically produces this particular item in, you know, X amount of large quantities, and they can just stamp it, put a label, your label on it if you want to. But it's a generic item that they sell to many different companies, ready out of the box, ready to go. And then you have more private label items, which it kind of like, it is kind of almost similar, but you can also make tweaks to your item and say, okay, this is now my item. I made this tweak, it's different than this generic version of it. And that's kind of more the private labeling sector.
All right. And Steve asked what is gated. A couple of people have answered it in the chat row, but why don't you explain what gated is?
Gated on Amazon is pretty much you need to get approval ahead of time by Amazon in order to be able to sell in this particular category. So for example, the jewelry category is gated, the industrial, it's industrial and something else I can't remember right now. Industrial is gated. And I mean, there's a bunch of other grocery department's gated, and you just go through Amazon's process, give them what they want in terms of to get into that category.
The reason Amazon gates some of the categories is because there could be a potential for fraud, like jewelry. They're real concerned about jewelry because it could be fake. It might not be real gold or silver or whatever. It's harder to authenticate. I guess there's also problems with people maybe selling knockoffs and things of that nature. I'm not sure exactly why they gate that, but it's not impossible to get ungated. It's just, if you're out there getting started in Amazon, you need to steer clear of the gated categories because it's already a tough enough, you know, learning curve before you have to go in there and say, oh, well, I'll get a bunch of jewelry shipped in and then I'll go ask if I can get ungated, and maybe you can't and you're stuck with product. So that's one of the reasons for gating, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm assuming they just want you to be serious about, you know, selling in certain categories. I mean, for example, the industrial category, I mean, you can sell medical equipment in there, and I mean, they really want to make sure in the industrial sector that you're selling exactly the specifications they're saying,
and that it's UL approved, or it's, you know. By the way, when you're talking right now, I don't know if you guys can hear this in the chat room. There's a clicking sound, like. There's almost, I'm not sure what's going on with your audio.
Oh, you know what? I'm wearing a bracelet that's probably making noise. I'm going to take it off right now. I'm assuming that's what it might be.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's more of a electronic thing. So, all right, well, maybe it'll go away here in a minute. All right, okay. Let me look at some. We got a ton of questions. We'll back up. Michael was asking, is AliExpress more expensive than Alibaba? Yes, Michael, typically, because basically you can go on AliExpress and order one item. You can order one unit of a toy versus having to order 500 or 3,000 from Alibaba. But the good news about it is that you can order 1 or 5 and test it and look at before you have to vet a full-blown manufacturer. You can ship in 50 or 100 and test it. And those same companies that list on AliExpress, typically, if you're going to do large quantities, would be able to give you more of an Alibaba price. Is that what you found?
You know, AliExpress is more for the smaller items, but you can still contact the vendors there. I always went and contacted the vendors directly because I never wanted to pay the price that they had on their website. I always got better deals. Sometimes they're just agents reselling, and sometimes they are the actual manufacturing company. So honestly, I almost use them a little bit interchangeably. If I really wanted something quick and didn't want to negotiate anything, I would go to AliExpress and just buy it with my credit card and go. When
and that's an advantage. You can buy with a credit card. Plus, you've got built-in assurance, trade assurance, or like an insurance on buying through Ali. In other words, you don't release the money, or you can make sure that the product you receive is what you're ordering before.
So these days it's a little bit different now for me, because now I work directly with agents that I've met in China. So I don't source too much now through Alibaba and AliExpress. I've been to China now and I have different contacts.
All right, Pilar, that noise is still coming through. Let's do this. Unplug your headset and see if that solves it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Do you still hear that noise?
No, it went away.
Okay, so let's just take it off for now then.
All right, do this. Plug it back in and see if it maybe fixed it. If it doesn't, we'll take it back out. Because that's the kind of thing that'll drive people crazy through the rest of the.
What's going on?
Can you hear it? Can you hear that noise still?
Not yet.
Oh, interesting. I'm not even sure exactly what it was. Maybe I just need to reset real quick.
Yeah. Okay, that's better, I think.
Okay.
All right, good deal. So, and there's a movement of people now that are starting to figure out that it's smarter to start with AliExpress if you want to vet a product and see if it's going to sell, assuming that you can get it at a decent price. And you might not make a profit, but you might know that, okay, I can get 10 of them shipped pretty quick, or 50 of them, put them up on, you don't have to put a logo on it. And that's probably some of the things you do, is get them over quick, get them up, test them. And if it sells, then you can go back and negotiate a much better price and start getting branding happening.
Tidy it up a little bit and this and that. Yeah. And I just also want to tell people that you don't just need to do Alibaba or AliExpress. That is the thing, because a lot of people teach that. And honestly, like, I still do very well selling items from China, but there's a lot of movement also with US made products, more manufacturing companies around here, a lot of great websites. I think Makers Row is a website that's a little bit more brand new, but they're featuring US manufacturing companies, and there's all sorts of other different websites. But it's not just China. I think everyone's kind of catching on to AliExpress and Alibaba a little bit too much, which again is why I have started to do a little bit more traveling, because you can go to a spice show in India and suddenly bring in something for the grocery department that maybe is hard to find online, or you go to Nepal. Unfortunately, that's going on right now in Nepal. But you go to another country, you bring in something that's known, that country is known for, that maybe is harder to find online.
Well, I've heard that it's better to get the handcraft stuff from maybe the Philippines or somewhere else.
I wrote a blog post recently, just so you know, about different areas around the country that might be a good places, what items you can source in some of those different countries. So you guys might want to check it out. It's on my website, and I think it's called Sourcing Internationally for Private Label Items.
Zach is asking, how do you research potential products to private label? Do you have a protocol that you follow?
Do I have a system? I don't have a step-by-step system. I'll tell you a little bit about what I do have a little bit of a system now that I think about it. So I always at all times have some sort of an Excel or worksheet going, where if I see something on Amazon that is somewhat of a unique item, or they always have to be small items. I only bring in small items, nothing heavy. I'll put it on my sheet as a product of interest. I'll see how it's trending. I'll look at the rank. I'll put on my Excel spreadsheet.
Whoa. Back up. My prosecuting attorney hat's popping on it. How do you see how it's trending? What do you look for to determine what's trending?
Mainly, you know what? Mainly, I'll go to Amazon. I'll go to eBay. I'll do some Googling. I'll do some Googling to see what other websites might have this product. There's Google Trends that you can kind of look at, and it's mainly Amazon though. I'll be on Amazon doing my own shopping, seeing what pops up at the bottom of the screen, seeing if something's lightweight, if something is kind of has a good ranking. I'll put it on my Excel spreadsheet as, oh, maybe this is something I might be interested in, and maybe I can actually combine it with another product and label that. And then let me see if I can get it out in China or get it out somewhere in the US.
Well, how do you track trend? What are you looking for? What metrics do you look at to say, I'm going to watch this over what, a couple of days or weeks or what?
No, I actually have items on my Excel spreadsheet that I've tracked over months. So
okay.
This particular container shipment that I brought in from China, I actually was tracking this for close to a year, because if anyone has brought in a container shipment, they know how expensive it is, and it could give you a heart attack to put up that kind of money and not be sure if you're actually going to resell this. So
instead of camel, you were Pilar.
Yeah, I actually don't use too many of the tools out there. I think after a few years too, you just kind of get a gut feeling of what might be a good seller. But I keep track of like, what's the sales rank of this particular item in January? All right, now what's the sales rank in March? How's it looking over the course of the summer? What's happening during the holiday season for that particular item? And then from there, you know, you start noticing trends. Is it moving up at a certain time of the year? Is it not? Should I bring it in this time of the year or another time of the year? But I don't actually have a system where I'm saying, oh, it has to fall under this metric or this metric or this metric. I'm just kind of paying attention to what's happening on Amazon, movers and shakers, items that are outside of the 100 ranking that you randomly
Well, that's what I was
find.
asking. What BSR do you figure some of your products are hovering around, or maybe this container shipment? Did you see it go from 500 down to 2,000 and back up to 300? I mean, what was the range that it might?
Yeah, I actually don't buy anything that's ranking over 10,000, and 10,000 is pretty much my point of drop, where I'm thinking, where in my mind that's not a good product for me, because
I agree.
The products that I'm trying to get, I'm trying to sell, you know, X amount per day and move them faster. I've actually had, over the course of 7 years, 2 items that fell in that ranked in the top 100, and the last one happened about 3 months ago.
What kind of velocity? How many units were selling per day on something like that?
I ran out, Jake. It just kind of happened.
That's what I was thinking.
It was crushing when it happened, because just to get another product, it was my second product ever that I got into the 100 ranking. I did not know that.
Were you not paying attention?
No, I was paying great attention. But you know,
well, okay, where was it before it hit 100? Was it hovering in the 40s or 50?
It was under 1,000. It was under.
No, I'm talking about how many units per day was it before it ramped up to 100? Was it?
Oh man, it was probably going about 50 to 60 units per day, and then it just hit under. It started going. It was like at 329. Then all of a sudden it's like 211. I just keep looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm putting in an order. And then suddenly, I don't know if people were showing it on a website or something, but literally overnight, it started ranking right under 100. And I think the lowest it got to was about 79. And I ran out in a matter of like 3 days, because at that point.
Did you raise your price?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So whenever I have an item that's about to sell out, I always raise my price. Now, I'm trying to basically slow down the velocity of this item so that I can still maintain some sort of a ranking by the time that I restock this item. It was insane. No matter how high I kept going up, because I actually kept jumping it up by about $1. I'm like, at some point, people are going to say that's enough. I'm not going to buy this item. And it was well over the price point of my competition in that category. So it surprised me as well that it was still selling so fast. And it did run out, and I went up to about $3.50 higher than what I was selling it for, and it still sold out. And I think I got it in within another 2 days though.
Did it? What did the running out for 2 days before you got it back into Amazon? I don't know how long it took you to get it back listed in stock. What, 4 or 5 days, or did you get it back in 2 days? Or
I ran out, and I think I was only out for about 2 days. But you know, it takes Amazon a little bit of time while they're getting the inventory going. Also, I drop ship from China. I have them drop ship directly to Amazon's warehouse.
Just
so
to cut
that
a few
helps
days
me.
off.
Yeah, and this I wouldn't recommend, just so you know, to everyone. I've been working with these vendors for a few years now. I trust them, and that has significantly cut down my workload and the amount of time that it takes for me to restock at Amazon.
So once you restocked it and it ran out, where did it go from 79 or 100 BSR down to what?
I think it went up to a little bit into the 300s. But here's the thing: it took me a long time to try to get it. Not a long time, but it took me a good amount of days to try to get it back into just trying to get it until under 100 again. It did not fall again under 100, just so you know. It wavered at like 112 at best. And even now it kind of fluctuates a little crazily right now between about 350 and 100 or so.
And did you adjust your price after the fact? Have you played around with price to see what the sweet spot is?
Yeah, I do play around a lot with price. I was able to, at the end of the day, leave it up $1 more. So I had gone up about $3.50 right before I ran out. When I got it back in stock, I dropped it down again to just about $1 more than what I was originally selling it for, because it does affect your velocity. I mean, the higher you price it, I mean, it was getting up there and ranking again.
Okay. Rob asked, you mentioned a lot of price fluctuations, selling prices for your product. Currently, I'm curious, when and how do you adjust price to win when working against competitors? Did you get that question?
Yeah, let me see. I sort of get that question. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the question actually in the little screen here again. Can you just repeat it one more time, just so I make sure I have it?
Currently, I'm curious when and how you adjust price to win when working against competitors. In other words, what's your pricing strategy when you're trying to outcompete somebody else that you might be competing against?
Sure. Okay. So
there's the question, by the way, pop back in there.
So basically, from start to finish, when I first upload an item, I generally price it way lower, because I'm just trying to make sure that I get some hits on it so I can get some sort of a ranking going. As soon as I start getting something of a ranking going, I'll jump it up to the price that in my mind was the price that I was planning on selling this item for. And sometimes it does start off with being maybe $1 cheaper than the competitor. Sometimes it's about the same price. But honestly, the competitor price, as long as you have a great product and something that's a little bit more superior than your competitor, I don't worry too much about the competitor's price. Right now, some of my best-selling items are priced a few dollars above the competitor, and I have a better ranking than they do.
Tell people why you think that is. I have a theory on this, and it's pretty well known. Why is that?
That you can price it higher?
Yeah.
I mean, for one, if you have a lot of different seller ratings and you have a really positive rating, I have thousands of ratings now under my Amazon account after 7 years. If you have a logo that actually makes a logo on Amazon for your seller name that makes you look more legit. If you take great pictures, if you actually have a photographer that takes awesome pictures for you and you upload it great, and adding some nice little keywords and having a great description. I mean, there's so many different factors.
Every bit of that is wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding. But every bit of that can be encapsulated by saying it's because people trust Amazon and they don't come to Amazon necessarily for the cheapest price. They're looking for quality. eBay is where you go for cheapest price. So therefore, you might actually just play around with price and price up your item above your competition, because they may think, well, it's priced higher, it must be better. And people are willing, especially Prime members, because they're getting free shipping, they're okay to pay a little bit more. That's my, and I think all those things you mentioned are, that's really what you're doing. You're building that trust factor that people say, I'm here for quality. You know, some people want to buy BMWs and Mercedes. You can buy a really cheap Kia and get you from A to B, but why do people buy expensive cars? Because they'll pay more because they want luxury.
And I think they do say that Prime members do spend more on Amazon and this and that. But honestly, I do think also that you do have to have a very good seller rating, and you do have to have lots of reviews under your seller account. And I'm not sure if a lot of people actually do a logo for their name on Amazon, but that actually makes you look like a little bit like a bigger company when you have an actual logo as opposed to just doing the generic, you know, boxy looking name.
So they'll allow you to do a logo as your name? Is that what you're saying?
As your seller name,
It
whatever
could be
your
an image then? Whatever you say, it could be an image or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I went on Fiverr, and for $5, you know, I told someone, hey, here's my name on Amazon. Can you make it into a logo of this size? Because Amazon told me it needs to be this size if you want to actually upload a picture logo.
So it's like a favicon.
Yeah, so it looks great. I mean, it makes me look like a bigger company online, even though I'm a one-person deal over here on this end.
All right, I want to cover something that Rob and Steve have both asked in similar ways. Steve is saying, do you use an agent and how to find? And Rob says, can you describe the agent process you use?
Okay, so I say agent. So basically, when I first started, I was doing AliExpress, Alibaba. I contacted those vendors, all right? I befriended those vendors, started working with those vendors, and then I made my way over to China and I met them. When I went over to China, I went to the Yiwu commodity place, by the way. This is where I first started.
The what?
The Yiwu commodity place. I can write it out over here.
I thought you said the evil commodity place.
The Yiwu. Let me just can I write it up in here? Yeah, it's I'm trying to see if I can write it up here. I'll take out the little.
You can change that if you want to. The sticky message.
Commodity place. So this is, did it go?
I don't think so. Let me remove.
There we go.
Okay.
So the Yiwu commodity place is one of the first places I landed when I went to China. When you go there, and again, I have a blog post on my website about it, but when you go over to visit some of your vendors in China, if you've met them on AliExpress or Alibaba, great. But the hotels will have tons of pamphlets right at the front where you could see, hey, this is an agent, this is an exporting agent, and you'll find hundreds of them. So it's a matter of just kind of finding one that you just feel most comfortable with. A lot of these people will buy from the different manufacturing companies, so they can source you almost anything that you're looking for. Some of them are better at sourcing one particular category than they are in another category. So I always say when you go over to China and you try to find some of these agents, to always pin the agents against one another. I had a product that I was selling here that I had bought on AliExpress. I bundled it, so it was harder for people to copy me. I was paying one price for it here. I went over to Yiwu Commodity Place, called up a couple of agents that I had seen in the pamphlets, and was able to lower my cost by about $1.20 per item, which is significant.
Where'd you get these pamphlets?
At the hotels when I was at the Yiwu Commodity Place. I took a few pictures. I think I did a blog post where, actually, it was in my email newsletter that I sent out. Actually, anyone who was on my email newsletter at that time, I took pictures of the different exporting agents and and manufacturing companies and vendors that I came across while I was in Yiwu. I put it in a file and I kind of emailed it to people as just a gift, kind of. Here I was in Yiwu and I took a bunch of pictures of some contacts in case you guys want to use it.
I don't think your Yiwu message on the sticky. You got to put it in and hit this. You have to hit display a sticky message when you do the drop down on the computer.
let me try this again. The Yiwu commodity place.
And then you have to hit display sticky message.
Did
There
it go
it is.
through?
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right. That's
Okay.
where I landed the first time I went to
So,
China. The
so
second
you went
time
over.
was different.
So tell me what is the difference in an agent, or is that the same as a broker and a manufacturer?
Yeah, no, an agent is pretty much a broker. A lot of them will say, "Hey, I can find you whatever it is that you need to source here in China. I'm going to help you go and look for it." If you know a manufacturer ahead of time, or even if you find some of them and on Alibaba, like this last time that I went to the manufacturing plant of someone that I had contacted on Alibaba. And I actually saw their manufacturing facility and met their employees and did the whole 9 yards. That was actually the container shipment that I brought in. The agents will just kind of like just try to find you the best price and just source the items for you.
And how do you determine whether an agent is honest or not? Because, this is what people say about Alibaba. You got to make sure you vet the manufacturer, and you need to ask them if they are a manufacturer. They're probably just an agent, and they may send you a great sample from a really good manufacturer, but then when you order it, they send you a bunch of crappy products from this other manufacturer because you didn't realize that they were an agent. That is one of the big fears that people have. Sounds like to me an agent could be your best friend.
Yeah, no, I actually befriended my agents over there. I've been working with them for a few years. They take me out to dinners and lunches. I mean, it is a lot about relationship building. Now, I don't have the experience that I've heard some people have online about, trying one product and then getting a different product. When I've gone over there, it's basically, hey, you're showing me this product. I never have them drop ship it to Amazon unless I have a year's worth of time of them shipping it to me first and me physically, personally checking out the items. After
Okay, so how many shipments would you normally probably receive over a year that you're vetting these guys? 3, 5, 7, one a month?
No. Well, you're basically testing out a lot of different items. I mean, that I'm gonna say I probably can get 3 or 4 shipments a month.
From the same guy? From the same people?
No. From all of my vendors, the ones that bring it in here.
No, I'm talking about when you're trying to vet a vendor or broker or an
Okay.
agent on whether or not you can start shipping drop shipping to Amazon.
Amazon's
You're
warehouse.
saying that you got to have a year's experience with that particular
Yeah.
one vendor. How many shipments from that one vendor would you probably receive over the course of a year?
That's another broad question, but okay.
Ballpark it.
Yeah, I mean,
More than 2, less than 10?
No, it's probably more like 10 or 12 because I'm getting
Okay.
about once a month from them. Yeah.
That's what I need to know. So you need about 10 or 12 shipments from them over a course of a year before you start feeling like, okay, I think I can trust these guys, because every time I get a shipment, I test it, I check it, inspect it, and it's what they say it is. Or do you get or do you have some problems over that year and you finally get them trained right and fixed and improved to the point where, I mean, do you have problems like that over the course of a year where you just have to kind of deal with it?
I got to tell you, I've been really, really, really fortunate to have found some amazing, amazing agents that I've been working with, and I've met them multiple times now in person. If there ever is an issue when they bring something in, it might be that the way that they packaged it caused it to be damaged. So I will let them know I need the carton sticker, this needs to happen or that needs to happen. But in terms of the product quality, thank God I've always been lucky and have had excellent experience with that. This time right now, go ahead. I just wanted to say that right now, about 75% of my Amazon business now is pretty much on automation. I have items that I've been selling for, a year, 15 months that are literally on repeat orders, and I have my vendors drop ship to Amazon. I do have about 25% of items that I'm testing, or either that it might be a new vendor and I'm still checking it that comes in here or maybe to a warehouse.
So basically, in about a year from now, if you didn't test any new products or adding new products, you'd get to the point where your business would be almost 100% automated, only because you're not bringing in new products. The only reason it's not automated is you're always bringing in or testing a few new products you're adding to your portfolio.
Yeah. Yep,
okay.
Exactly.
So, all right, you start over. Your Amazon shut your business down. You're out of business. And they say the reason you're out of business is we don't like your vendors and your agents and your manufacturers. You got to start all over from the very get-go. And I'm saying this because what do you tell a new person? What is the best way to get to the point where you can say, I want to get started? Because you talked about this when we had our pre-interview. You started from scratch with less than $1,000 and you wanted to let people know you don't have to start with lots of money. But how do they how can somebody do they have to travel to China to get that agent? Or would you lay out a plan of action that people could take to get there?
Sure. Okay. Well, for one, if I were to start all over again, I would start off with, again, if I had $500, let's say, for example, I'm going to check Craigslist just to check it out first. I'm going to just see if there's anything in there that I can find that I can actually, turn and make a profit.
What would you look for on Craigslist? Books?
I don't think books these days now. Some people sell books, but for me, I don't think books is a high profit place that I want to be in now. But I mean, if someone is doing some kind of, getting rid of some inventory from a store. Actually, it's been a long time since I've been on Craigslist. I'm literally sitting here trying to think, if I start over, how would I start? And a lot of people ask me, hey, I only have $400 or $200 and I want to do private labeling. How do I do that with this little bit of money? And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I would probably go to like Michael's and arts and crafts store or something, probably make something on my own, put it in a little Ziploc bag or something and put a little label, and that's my private label item, because I want to see if this is going to work. Or what I might do is I might go to a store, buy some generic little items that don't cost too much to ship, bundle it up, put a label, send it off, just to get my feet wet to see what's selling. Can I make a profit? And where how can I keep going from here?
So go to a store like Five Below. Are you familiar with that store? Five Below.
They sell everything under $5. Is that I'm guessing?
It's like that. Yeah, or the dollar store, and find two different items that are super cheap that you could bundle so that you can make it unique. So you could put a UPC code on it, and you got a private label. You got a faux private label product that you could maybe get some traction with. But you still have to check and see, is it selling on Amazon? What's the BSR? Is it 80,000? Is it 6,000?
Yeah. You're just getting your feet wet at that point. I'm assuming that this person does not know how to list an item, how to check things, and they're just trying to learn how to sell something. I mean, I don't know anymore how retail arbitrage has been going, because it's been a few years since I've been out of it. I know there's a lot of people.
There are tons of people still doing it. Trash to cash and thrifting and all that kind of stuff. There's still people that's all they know is. I mean, there's Facebook groups devoted to retail arbitrage. I don't know why.
I think it's addictive. When I was doing it, I did it for a few years. It was addictive to go to like a Target. My favorite store when I was doing that back in the day was Kmart. Kmart used to have this incredible clearance offer where it would be specials. Like it would be like, okay, here's the clearance section for the toys. But this particular week, we're going to do 50% off of the clearance. And oh my God, I would go there and just get tons and tons of carts going. And I would actually hold those toys for Christmas and then, jack the price up and make a killing at Christmas time. But I don't know how it is at this time, because I don't do the retail arbitrage.
People still do that. People buy off market or off season, hold on to it. I think retail arbitrage is way more work. From a standpoint of, if you get in the toy market, you have to be a walking encyclopedia. You got to know if this toy is selling or not. And is this toy going out? Is it trending up? Is there a new movie coming out where the next generation toy is going to displace this old toy? Nobody's going to want it. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of knowledge. It's like baseball cards. You have to know all the players and know why this baseball card is more valued than another one. It seems like to me it's a lot of head knowledge that you have to gain But at the same time, what you're saying is you can start cheap and do that and turn stuff and make money.
Yeah, and the other thing I would suggest too, because there are a group of people that pretty much just start and sell during the Christmas time. Now, I do my annual revenue, I do about 32% to 40% in the months of October, November, December. So say that again.
Q4, is that
Q4, yeah.
The fourth quarter.
Q4, fourth quarter. So during those months, that would be the best time, I would say, for a new person to start, because if you're starting with a new PL product, it's the best time to launch and to start doing your Amazon sponsored ads. And it's a great time to do retail arbitrage. You get that excitement going and you can build cash flow a lot faster during those 3 months. There's also other people that I know that literally just sell those 3 months, and that's their money for the year. I mean, the best year that I had.
Selling Christmas trees.
Yeah, anything, ornaments or this and that. But back in 2013, that was my best Q4, where I ended up doing $500K in sales revenue during those 3 months, and that was a time where my profit margins were absolutely amazing.
So
and I could have
sold
called
$500,000 worth of stuff in 3 months.
In 3 months, and I actually do have the screen share, because I actually brought it up just in case.
Oh, really? Okay. And what kind of profit would you make on that 500,000?
You died of that number was absolutely ridiculous. It was
50%
about
of that.
It was no, it was a little bit less. It was a little bit less than that. I think around that time it was. I'm sorry.
Are you married?
I'm not married. No.
You're available.
What's going on?
Because I mean, you're making somebody needs a sugar mama out there.
Someone needs a sugar mama. Oh my God. I need my equal. I need an equal.
That's it. Yeah. But you're gonna be pursued now.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, to do these kinds of things. And this is, I just want to remind people, by the way, when you see these numbers, it's taken me a lot of years of, making tons of mistakes, trying to get the cash flow so I can get my products going. But when you see people, posting huge numbers, there's a lot of money behind that. When you're doing 75, 100K a month, you need a lot of investment. So if you're trying to start off with $400, $500, be aware that it will take you time. But if that's all you have, that's okay. Retail arbitrage, yes, go ahead and do that. The same thing I mentioned about PL, where you go to like a craft center. If you're a crafty person, make something up. It's your own product. It might take you a long time to do, but that's okay. You're learning and you're trying to grow your cash flow. These numbers don't just pop up overnight. The people that go from like 0 to this or that, you have some sort of money. Hi. You have some sort of money in the, you have a good amount of money to play around with. Now.
Okay, so let's say that people graduate from this cash flow strap mentality and they get to the point where they've started making some money. How do they transition to, I still think the question I want to get you to answer is, how do you find an agent? Do you have to go to China to get an agent? Is there a way to develop an agent relationship so that you can they can help you cut through the fear and the unknown of trying to find somebody that you can trust that can help you find a product that you're interested in?
You could actually just Google China an agent, and a bunch of people will pop up. And if you end up making it to China, then you will meet them in person. You will see if that's what they actually do. But personally, I'm trying to think of another way to do that. But the way that I did it was I ended up going to China. I met people on Alibaba, AliExpress, contacted them. They said that they can come meet me in Yiwu. I met with them, and then I pretty much just went to pamphlets after that.
So have you been to the Canton Fair?
I haven't, but I've been even better if I've gone straight to manufacturing companies and visited the plants. So, but I
Okay.
have not gone to the Canton Fair. My understanding is that you do have to buy a lot when you go to those fairs. And I'm not willing to invest, 100K on another sea shipment or something like that.
I'll say that I'll have my prosecutorial attorney hat is going to pop on here and say, you don't have to buy anything when you go to the Canton Fair. In fact, the gurus that use the Canton Fair say, don't buy anything when you're there. Just build relationships, meet people. And a lot of those manufacturers are close enough that they'll invite you back to their manufacturing plant while you're there and take you on a tour. And then your job is to vet them and build that relationship, maybe find an agent that or somebody that acts as an agent, and then go back home with all your stuff and analyze it and then decide if you want to order something. I would imagine that if you were trying to buy something at the fair, they want big bucks. But I don't think you have to do it that way.
So that actually sounds exactly like a blog post that I wrote about Yiwu, where I said, go to Yiwu, do your searching, but don't buy while you're there. Come back. And then and it's the same process then I would imagine at the Canton Fair.
Canton Fair is just like a big trade show, and they're all there and showing their wares. And
for sure.
Yeah, so I guess that there's really not a lot of difference. It's just the Canton Fair they're all right there, and it could overwhelm you if you have. And I think what you're really saying is you're not ready to go to China until you've bought something off of AliExpress and Alibaba and done it enough that you actually know what kind of questions you'd want to ask if you ever went to China in person.
Yeah, if you have the cash flow and you can make it to China, I would say a good spot as a first time is the Yiwu Commodity Center. I think the Canton Fair is overwhelming. Yiwu is overwhelming as well, but you can make a lot of contacts through there. And from there, you can make a few phone calls and then start getting tours. I mean, I guess you could do the same thing at the Canton Fair. I personally have no experience with the Canton Fair.
Here's what I've heard from some of the experts. Don't ever go to the Canton Fair, or probably anywhere else in China, until you actually know what you want. If you're going there just as a shopping trip, say, oh, maybe I'll find something, that's crazy. You're wasting your money and wasting your resources and your time. You need to be able to say, I've already got this product. Can you make it better? Can I find a better source for it? Can I find a product that complements it? I'm looking to bundle it, whatever. I'm sure
there's a lot of stories, because I also met a lady who didn't really do any kind of Amazon selling or anything. And she went to China, and she actually hasn't told me yet where exactly in China she went, but she said it was the best trip of her life. And now she actually runs a large jewelry company. I think it's out of Rhode Island or Connecticut, if I can remember properly. So everyone has a different experience, a different way of doing things.
David wants to know, will you share your agents?
David, I've worked years. Oh my God.
That's like saying, will you share your boyfriend with him?
Oh my Lord, here we go.
No, you don't share your boyfriend. That's your boyfriend. That's your sugar daddy. You worked hard to build that relationship. You guys are dating.
Oh man, yeah, it's taken a long time to build these relationships.
Now we're 22 after the end of the second hour, and I've got a ton of questions in here, so I'm gonna start rocket.
I'm gonna plug in because I'm actually running out of battery real quick, but my plug is right there.
Go ahead and do that.
1 second.
Joey asked, is there a webinar replay? Yes, there will be, Joey. It will come about 24 hours after this one is over. So once we get that rendered, the video rendered, I will definitely be sending it out.
All right, Dick. I'm good.
Okay, I was answering a question that didn't have anything to do with you, really. Carrie wants to know, what is the biggest mistake you've ever made?
I got a good one. And actually, this kind of goes back to what you were just talking about. I went to Yiwu 2 years ago. That was the first time I landed in China. And googly eye, walked in, super excited, because obviously you're looking at prices that are way lower than what you can find on Alibaba or AliExpress. And you're just super darn excited. And I said, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And send me everything right away. Wow. That was the biggest mistake of my 7-year career with Amazon.
I'll rest my case. Don't go over there shopping for stuff and looking at stuff. Go there knowing what you want.
You could go there to look at what you want, but I tell you, it is like exciting. You have like little dollar bills in your eyes going when
So
you,
what
when you go
happened?
to those places.
Did you get bad product? Were they chintzy products? You didn't really check out the quality, or what? You didn't sell?
The products were actually fine. It was the fact that I overwhelmed myself with products and I didn't even look to see if they would sell. I did no research. I was just like, oh my God, here's a product that I can buy for this cheap. Here's a product that, and it was about, I want to say it was about close to $8,000 mistake. Now, here's the one gem that came out of that. The tiniest, smallest product that I bought in that shipment that cost me about $8,000 worth of like tons of different product, tons of different stuff. This one tiny item, I posted it on Amazon and I gave up because I was like, oh, that's not selling either. Gosh, here go, $8,000 loss. 6 months later, that item starts to slowly move and slowly move and slowly move. And it's actually one of my best-selling items right now, and it's made up for. Oh no. Jake?
Phone, guys. I'm sending her a
There you go.
Facebook message, or is it
There you
me?
go.
Okay, maybe it was me. I don't know if it's me or you.
Oh, I was still online talking. I just noticed that you're off.
Okay, yes, it must have been me. Sorry about that.
All right.
But we're still broadcasting. Okay, Rob came back and said, Jake, can you get back to the pricing question? I understand the beginning of her pricing process, but would like to hear how she adjusts when competitors come into the market. So I guess the other thing that she's looking for, or he's looking for, is, okay, he knows what your pricing strategy is because you don't really care what the competitor's price is. But if a competitor, if you're running the market, you own the market in a particular product, and a new competitor comes on the scene and starts making headway, do you adjust against that competitor in any manner?
Initially, no, I do not. I kind of waited out to see what their ranking is because it doesn't matter. It honestly really, if their price is low but they're not ranking, it makes no sense to me to drop the price to be the same as theirs. If for some reason they start moving up in the rankings, I might start playing around with my price, and I generally play around with maybe 50 cents, maybe $1. But I think this might be a general thing known or maybe not. If you periodically adjust your Amazon prices, for whatever reason, it does move your bestsellers rank. Like if I have an item that I have at $13 or something like that, and it's not moving, if I suddenly move it to like $12.77, all of a sudden, a minute later when I refresh, I seem to have a sale. And then once it gets moving again, like another 2 sales, I'll jump it right back up to $13 or $13.25.
What do you think makes that happen?
You know, I've heard a lot of different theories on this. Someone I heard say, you know, people might have it in their shopping cart. And you know how Amazon gives you that little notification when you go on your shopping cart, oh, the price here has increased or decreased by this amount. And people are kind of like, oh, shoot, let me buy that right now before it increases more. Or, oh, great, it's a deal because it just went down. I think that might have something to do with it. Otherwise, honestly, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it always happens. So I will adjust my price every couple of days or so.
Okay. Do you use pay-per-click?
Yeah, the Amazon sponsored ads.
Yes.
And I did send out an email newsletter with actually showing some of the things that I did over the last few months, and I have some pretty decent numbers with using that.
Do you use it on all of your products that you have? I mean, when you launch a product, is that part of your launch strategy?
Definitely. You get I think a lot of people teach this, but you get a few ratings going. I do the manual keywords. So I put in some manual keywords into Amazon on the back end. And then in the Amazon sponsored ads, and I'll run it. And I normally have the price down pretty low, lower than what I want to sell it, just so I can get some ranking going on it.
Because I think what happens is when you put in your product at a lower price and then you do pay-per-click, Amazon is saying, hey guys, you're looking at this item that costs $15.95, but here's somebody selling it for $12.95 right over here. And they're promoting your product for you through the pay-per-click. So some people say, I'll go take a look at that cheaper price, and it drives sales even though it's a lower price. I guess my question is, do you use the automated, like let Amazon optimize you do it manually, but do you also do the optimized version as well?
I rarely do the automated because I've found that I have a better outcome when I do the manual. Also, the other thing is my items tend to be they tend to be a lot different than the competitors. So Amazon might not get clued into like, oh, this is a similar item as this one.
Isn't that based on keyword though?
Yeah, but I mean, if a picture shows up here of this item, looking with all these other products, bundled up, for example, with all this stuff, it's a completely different product than this one standing alone product. I mean, I try to make sure that my products are very hard to be copied. And it has done very well in terms of keeping competitors away from my listing and then from coming up with some other of their own listings.
Troy says, is low price combined with pay-per-click what you use to get reviews and improve rank on initial launch?
Yeah, it pretty much is. I mean, I'm just trying to get some people who want to buy my product because that price is low, just because I want to be able to be seen on Amazon. I do go on the back end. If I see someone has bought it and they've received it, I'll go and I'll send them an email or something, and just a nice warm email to ask them for a review.
That's Age's next question. How do you get reviews? Do you pester your friends and family to do a review for you when you're trying to get those first 8 or 10 reviews out there?
Yeah, I think most people do that. And yeah, every now and then you do need to kind of do that. It's just the name of the game. If a lot of people if you guys have done that in the past, you do know that if you have shipped, if you out of your Amazon account have shipped something to, for example, your friend's house or your mom's house, Amazon catches on that that person, and they will not count that review.
Right.
So yeah, that is part of the strategy, but it's not like I have a lot of that going on. I try to lower the price, put the Amazon sponsored ads. I get a few people that buy that. I'll start shooting out emails.
How do you determine what your keyword should be? Do you do keyword research?
I actually open up Google and I will jot down a lot of keywords that I think I would use to get into to find that product. And then what I'll do is I'll start clicking on the links that pop up and kind of reading some of the blog posts. If there's a blog post of an item, seeing if I find other keywords in there that I could use, and kind of repeating the process.
Okay, 2 questions that are very similar. What strategies do you use to make your products unique from the competition? And Terry says, what kind of things do you do to make your product different from the competitors?
A lot of my strategy is bundling a lot of the similar items or
Will you define bundling for us, for those who don't know what that means?
Sure. I mean, bundling is you have a couple of products that you just put together, or 3 different products that you just want to bundle up together. Now, when you are sourcing online, sometimes a lot of people can copy you because you can easily find these products that you might want to bundle. So another reason that I do go to visit China is because I will be shopping around and I'll see stuff that I have not seen online that I think are pretty cool. And I might bundle that with another item that's a comparable item, and get amazing rankings off of doing stuff like that. And I don't have too many competitors come on my listing for that reason. So I advocate traveling quite a bit because it makes it harder for people to copy you when they're online trying to search for your product to buy on AliExpress or Alibaba.
But until you can get to the point where you can travel, you can still bundle. Have you ever determined that you should get one product A from manufacturer A, product B from manufacturer B, so that A doesn't know B and they don't?
Oh yeah, but You could still copy someone very easily, though. You can go on Alibaba and AliExpress and find manufacturer A and then find manufacturer B, and then you bundle it yourself. So I kind of try to stay away from finding things that are a little bit too obvious sometimes.
Okay, I'm going to start buzzing through here, Pilar, because we have a lot of questions. One of the, what did I just do? Okay, one of the questions Donna asked is, are you selling internationally? You sell outside the U.S.?
I only sell on Amazon US. I know there's tons of emails that Amazon sends out. I just got one today for Japan, sell on Amazon Japan, but I only do US.
Okay, how long will it be before you start doing international? Have you thought about that?
I don't know that I want to do international because I'm doing so well right here. Yeah.
All right. How long did it take you to transition to FBA full time?
It took me, I was doing it on a very part-time basis without thinking I'm going to do it full time. So it took me 4 years, but not because I was actually working on it diligently. I was satisfied with $500, $900 extra a month in my paycheck. What got me to actually jump the gun was basically my boss. And then when I decided I was going to go full time, it took me 1 year to get it to full-time status.
Okay, and then David asked, what product categories do you focus on? And can you recommend some trustworthy online suppliers for someone looking to just start out with FBA?
So at Christmas time, which is my best time, I do toys. I recommend a lot of people do toys. It's one of the best things to sell. Throughout the year, I mentioned a few categories that I'm already in. The industrial category, I am in jewelry, I am in arts and crafts. And so, it's kind of whatever categories might suit you guys best. And in terms of finding suppliers, I get asked this question quite often. And what I normally do is I'll go into a store, and if I find a unique item, like New York has lots of different cute little stores, I'll go into a store, I might turn the product to the back and see who distributes this item, who manufactures this item, and kind of that's a lead for me. Otherwise, I would say, Alibaba, AliExpress, Makers Row, go to Trade Goods.
What is Makers Row? Because somebody put that I saw that in the chat.
Yeah, I found Makers Row not too long ago, and they are a website that basically offers U.S. manufacturing companies. And there's actually one of the U.S. manufacturing companies here in Brooklyn, New York, and I think they do bow ties. And I can actually walk in and go visit them if I wanted to do bow ties and that sort of stuff. But Makers Row, I had it on by the way, if you guys are on Facebook, if you go to my Facebook business page, which is under Pilar Newman, and I will write that again up here under a sticky, I actually post a lot of resources for sellers in terms of, hey, this is a great new website that I found. Hey, this is an awesome manufacturing company that I found. I post a lot of good resources on there. So I will,
before you do that,
yeah,
before you do that, I'm going to run my link to the Amazon Hangout where you guys can find out what our upcoming webinars are. This is so it's called Amazon Hangout live weekly webinars with successful sellers. If you hadn't joined that group, go there and join it. We don't do a lot of talking over there, but it's just basically, if you're part of it, I'll be posting upcoming webinars. I'll leave it up there for a few minutes, and then we'll let you put that up there.
Okay. Yeah, because go ahead. No, because I was going to say, I know there's a lot of questions as I'm kind of scrolling through, and I always tell people to, if you have questions, it's okay, go to my Facebook page and just post them on there so that the whole community can learn, at one time. So feel free to post some of these questions also over there.
All right. Michael, what's your thoughts on electronic products?
I stay away from them. Oh my gosh. I get so nervous about there being some defects in electronic products.
Dan, any suggestions for bundling, getting items from China to test when you live outside the U.S.? You probably wouldn't be able to answer that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I wouldn't. Yeah, I only know U.S. based stuff, and I don't know how to. If you want to use, some of the whatever, I'm not sure what country you're in right now, but you might be able to find some sort of a distribution center that you can send your.
There are prep companies that do that for a living. Yeah. They actually, I know a guy in the UK who owns a prep service. So if you wanted to list on the UK site, you could have your product sent to him, and you could have it sent directly from your manufacturer to him. He'll do all the labeling, he'll inspect it, he'll do all that stuff and put it on for you for 20 cents an item or something like that.
I'm going to add a little caveat to this because I do realize that there are a lot of people that do use some of these places. And I would just say, just be careful also because, if that person's also selling on Amazon, or you're basically showing that person exactly where you're getting all your items, and you're just kind of like showing them all this information. So I try.
They also are sellers probably.
Yeah, and I've seen a few people who run the packing places that are Amazon sellers. And I'm like, nope, I'm not sending you my items.
Okay. Who physically puts a bundled product together before sending it to Amazon?
I have my vendors in China bundle stuff for me. And these are the agents that I've been working with. They're not like a specialized bundling company. Yep.
Troy asked, do you ever use deal sites?
No, I mean, I don't do retail arbitrage. So no, I don't use deal sites.
And he also asked,
and that's also the, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about in terms of getting, selling your items for a really cheap price and then trying to get your ranking going. I'm assuming that might be it.
Well, sure. People can do launches where they can give away their item or do like a Groupon where they sell it for $1.95, but you just have to be careful about that. You can wipe out your
inventory and all that.
And if you guys want to know about that, go look at the archive with Bridget Williams, because we talked all about how that happens and how to prevent it. Joey says, how do we partner with you, NYC native?
Oh, are you an NYC? If you're an NYC, you know what? It might be interesting. I'm starting to think that maybe I should put a group together of sellers around here, and we can kind of learn and grow together. And I can do maybe 1-hour sessions for the group just so that we can
Meetup.com. Are you familiar with it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I can do that. Also get on my email list or shoot me an email, and I'll try to get all of us New Yorkers together. Okay.
Michael says, how do you differentiate your products? Is it in terms of features, functionalities, or design?
It's actually neither. The way that I none of those actually. The way that I distinguish or change my items up is I'll bundle unique items that makes it very difficult for people to find all these pieces of these bundled items. And they all correlate to each other too. Or I'll just find something that I've never seen online, but that I think is pretty cool, because I actually do sell a lot of things to my taste, which, maybe the passion kind of swings through in the Amazon world, but I sell things that are very hard to find online, and I'll bundle them together.
When drop shipping, this is Bruce, direct to Amazon, how do you clear customs, duties, taxes, and all that kind of stuff?
There is, I don't know the exact terms, so forgive me for that reason, but your agent or your vendor
freight forwarder
like your freight forwarder, they can pay for all that stuff ahead of time and ship it out to Amazon. You use the vendor's address, you put it in Amazon, and Amazon will tell you what warehouse to send it to. I mean, it's not too difficult to do that.
All right. Kay asked, I would like to enter the costume market at Halloween time. What would you recommend as the number of units to have on hand for the season? How would you test the concept, i.e. particular costume idea?
Yeah, jewelry, just so you know, is a very, I think it's more of a competitive, high competitive.
This is not jewelry. This is costumes for Halloween, not costume jewelry.
Oh, costumes. I'm sorry. Costumes for, okay, so repeat the question then, I'm sorry.
I would like to enter the costume market at Halloween time. What would you recommend as the number of units to have on hand for the season? Like how many costumes of each? How would you test the concept? A particular costume idea. How do you test it prior to Halloween without taking, rolling the dice?
Yeah, so see, I actually have a system that I'm using right now for Halloween and Christmas selling, and it does involve a year's worth of time of gathering data, because you are playing blindly unless you have some sort of data going. So I actually have made myself an Excel spreadsheet of ISBNs of what other people are selling during the Halloween time that are ranking really, really well. So if I see a costume that's ranking really well, I'll put it down like pig costume or, wolf ears or something like that. And what I do is I'll put it in my cart at Halloween time or right before the Halloween time, see how many they have. And then I'll come back and check it every, 3-4 days throughout the Halloween season and just kind of start seeing how many they're selling per week. So this is actually a year-long process. In general, when I go ahead and test new items, I bring in about 250 pieces to test out that item.
Okay, and for the rest of you, what she means on how she figures out what they're selling, you can go put an item in a cart and then change your item number to 999.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have less than 999 on hand, it'll say, sorry, there's only 346 on hand.
Yeah.
Then you can come back the next day and say, okay, I'm going to put 999 in, and the next day it's 342.
Yeah.
You say, oh, they sold 4 items, or it might have dropped to 200. Oh, they sold 134 items. Now, if they have more than 1,000, and it won't work if they have more than 1,000 on stock. But that is a way for you to kind of get it. And you have to do it on a regular basis, like do it every day for a week or whatever. That's what some of these other tools online will do, like FBA Toolkit. Is a free service that will do that for you on particular items. Another thing you might want to do, Kay, is why not just partner with an offline costume company that sets up in one of these vacant retail stores for the month of Halloween, and go in and quiz them, and maybe even talk to them about listing an item or two for them online, and it could backfire. They might decide they want to do it themselves and try to figure it out. But you might get some good data from them by just interviewing them.
Yeah, and if you have extra cash flow, which I know it's going to be a little difficult for everyone, but like if you buy after Halloween sales, and if you can hold on to some of that stock, you can get some really good pricing right there and sell and make a good killing the following year.
By the way, I want to compliment you guys that are here as attendees. You guys are asking some awesome questions, and I really appreciate your interactive ability here. Henry, how much does a trip to China cost? How long is a piece of string? But how much would you figure it will set somebody back? And what's the cheapest and most efficient way to get tickets to travel, hotel, etc.?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of different websites that you can use. You can go to skyscanner.com. That's a really good website to check out different prices. There's also flightfox.com, where an experienced traveler will basically go and look at all the sites for you and come up with a great itinerary for you. Excuse me. I used FlightFox on my last trip because I had so many legs on this trip. I was a couple of different places in China. I did Bali. I did India. So I used FlightFox and that worked well. But I would say Skyscanner, and the ticket, if I were to break it down to just China, because like I said, I bought a bunch of tickets together, it was about $900 to $1,000. The hotel, which I mentioned in my blog post, the hotel I stayed at was the now it skipped my mind, but it's the same hotel. What's the hotel I stayed at? Best Western Ocean View Hotel. I think that's the one it is. It's on my blog post under sourcing in Yiwu. Best Western Yiwu, and that cost me about $95 a night.
If you get a relationship going with a vendor, can they help you out on some of the stuff? Can they say, we can get you our corporate rate if you stay at this hotel? Have you thought about that?
It depends. Well, Chinese vendors work a little differently. Like sometimes they want to, if you're a really big customer, they want to pay for your hotel stay, and they want to pay for your food. So I did have the manufacturing plant, pay for some of my costs. So you do have that kind of relationship piece that they do for you.
Okay. Hey guys, for those people that are really wanting to know about, I'm going to put this in. Let me remove the sticky, and then I'm going to put your stuff in here real quick. You guys better jump on this quick. This is a replay of Nancy Ramirez. She used to travel to the Canton Fair like 7, 8, 9 years in a row. A buyer for Walmart, Target, JCPenney. She knows all the ropes on traveling to China. So is that display? Click on that quick, because I still want you to put up your link we got plenty of time still, but I just want to, do you do FBA with jewelry?
I do it with one particular product that is selling very well, but I actually try to stay away because it is a very high competitive category to be in.
What is the normal practice for an agent to get paid? How are they paid, by commission, flat rate, etc.? That's Troy.
Yeah, it depends on what agent you work with. Normally, they're doing it on some sort of a commission level. Sometimes they say they're the salespeople for the manufacturing company and they just include everything in one pricing. But commission-based is a lot of what they use.
And do you find that your product cost does someone just incorporate it in the product cost?
Yeah, some of them do, and then they say they have no commission. So, it's one of those funny situations.
All right. I think we've already talked about that, Henry. Is your logo your brand name?
It is, yeah, it is.
Okay.
So I just went to Fiverr for $5 and someone did a great job on it. It makes you look great on Amazon.
Jay asked, do you use the same brand name for different products? Do you think it's a good idea to use one seller account to sell products in different categories?
All right, this is a good question because I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but because I started 7 years ago, the market on Amazon was a lot different. It was all about flipping and making $1. So if you notice, there was a link that I put one day on my Facebook business page that actually showed the top 100 sellers on Amazon. And if you actually went and check some of them out, you will notice that they sell anything and everything under the sun that makes money. And that is how I started 7 years ago. I sell all sorts of stuff under my Amazon account, different categories. This year, though, I am opening up now a second Amazon account. And by the way, I'm starting with the second Amazon account just like anybody else right now because it's going to have no seller reviews, no product reviews, no product just yet. And I'm coming, and that's off of me having thousands and thousands of review on my main account right now. But what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to test the waters also about, hey, I'm going to do this in a systematic way because eventually I want to be able to say, hey, yes, I did from A to Z, and this is what it took to get me to this profitable status and this. In other
words, you want to be able to show somebody what it takes today to start new.
Exactly.
And you can't do that with all the baggage that you've had over 7 years. Now, you have to get permission from Amazon to open a second account. Do not go and try to open a second account. You'll get banned on your first account. You have to get permission.
I asked, I already went through Amazon and I'm getting the next set of business cards going so I can open up the second account.
Do you have to have a second bank account and all that too?
You do. I've asked Amazon and all this stuff. And then you have to send them an email too with like, why exactly do you need a second account?
And what did you tell them?
I told them that basically in the future, I plan on selling off that leg of the business.
There you go. That's a perfect reason is you can sell a business. You got all your stuff like you have now, and you want to keep that little bitty toy product that you've had for 7 years, and you sell your business, and you're falling in love with that little product. You don't want to sell your business. But if you open up a separate one, you can build a business on a different brand, and then if you like it, keep it. Maybe you want to sell it, make and cash out. Maybe do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I have a dream that I do want to be able to say, hey, I sold a business and it sold for X amount of money. So that's the main reason I'm opening up the second account.
Alex says he's interested in creating a recognizable brand like the Nikes or the Kodaks.
Sure.
Or have you know anybody that's done that where they start off with their own little brand and then they built it to the point where now it's kind of like they've got shelf space on retail stores? Has that ever happened?
I personally do not know, but I'm sure that there's tons of people out there who have done that.
Alex also says, do you worry about all these listing optimizing factors on your initial product launch, or do you recommend getting the product out there first and building the brand as sales and budget increase?
Well, you want to give your product the best chance possible, right? So you're optimizing the picture, you're optimizing the listing. In terms of branding and that sort of stuff, I just start off with no frills just because I'm testing it out. And then you can incorporate the rest of that stuff later on.
I mean, it could be as simple as printing a logo on a sticker and putting a sticker on the product. And, it doesn't have to be molded into the plastic product or whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the name of the game for most people is you want to make money on Amazon. And so just learn how to flip an item. and then you can go back and fix everything else.
A couple of weeks ago, Bridget Williams, we had her on twice, as a matter of fact, runs a Facebook Amazon product review group. She was on our webinar, and she has like 400 or 500 reviewers, and she runs it like with an iron fist. And you know, they have to get their reviews in within 2 days. He wants to know, do you utilize any of these types of services to get some starter reviews on new products to gain more interest?
I don't use any public review group. Here's my thoughts on that. I appreciate that people have put in the time to do that. You know, Amazon is my bread and butter. I've been doing this for 7 years. I protect it. You know, I protect it very, very well. So if I want to run a review group, I'm going to do it within my private group of people that I know and trust, and kind of go that way, because I don't want other people constantly coming up and saying, hey, she sells a lot of products and she's done her research and boom, she posted a new item. No, let me go now and find that item.
Okay, here's how Bridget will do it. You could go to her and say, I want to launch, I just want to get 10 or 15 reviews so I can start doing pay-per-click on this new product. And she will actually do it in private, where only the reviewers get it, and it's not posted public on her site, so nobody can see what your product is except for those 5 or 10 or 15 reviewers. So she can do that and give you some protection from that angle. But right. You're right. You never, you know,
you get nervous. You protect your baby.
Yeah. Do you do FBA with women's clothing?
I don't sell any clothing whatsoever. Sorry.
Okay. Have you ever been in the Canton Fair? We've already answered that. What percentage in AliExpress do you pay for customs?
What percentage of
AliExpress is going to customs? Is there a percentage of it? Or is it based? It's not a percentage of AliExpress. It's percentage of the value of the item and whether or not and what it's taxed at. Because an item.
Yeah, different categories, different taxations. I mean,
you can have a widget, and if you don't and do the research, the manufacturer may classify it with code number 6, and that might make you pay a 20% tax. If they could possibly, like a light bulb, for example, you could also call it a heating element. And if it's a light bulb, maybe it's taxed at one rate. If it's a heating element, it might be taxed at a lower rate. So you might want to investigate that. That's where the duty comes in. It's not a portion of the shipping.
I would say if anyone has any questions about these custom rates and duties and this and that, to go to a company like Shapiro, email them. They're really great. I had a great female salesperson there who helped me out with a lot on my with the questions that I had on the C shipment, even though I didn't end up using Shapiro at the end of the day. But they will answer all sorts of questions to help you, know your actual numbers before you go ahead and do all this stuff.
Oh, go ahead and post. Steve is saying, do you have websites? Go ahead and post that on there now, Pilar.
Can I post more than one? I mean,
you can. Here's what you can do is you can like post it and then go paste and clip another one in there. Just don't hit display until you get everything in there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. And while you're doing that, are there any PL products that you have sold and then decided not to sell anymore due to too many competitors later on? In other words.
Oh yeah. Okay. There's tons of that stuff going on. That's the whole point of testing items out. You're not always going to hit them 100%, myself included.
Well, I think what they're saying is, oh, you're selling, it's doing great, and then competition comes in. Oh, okay, I don't want to sell.
Oh, got you. So I do have my items do have a general timeline. They can go anywhere from 8 months to 6 years, but generally 8 months to 15 months. I squeeze out as much money as I can. And then, every 2 or 3 months, I might be introducing new products. So
what you're saying is products have a shelf life.
They really do, because, if something starts ranking really well, selling amazingly, people are going to come in. They will eventually find this item. And what I do is, because when I like to bundle or change my items up, I make it as hard as possible so that I can have a longer lifespan. And then I kind of repeat the process. Right now, because I do love learning about all sorts of different e-commerce stuff, I am teaching myself right now about how to sell on other e-commerce sites, how to sell on my own e-commerce site that I have someone, making for me right now. So it's just kind of always evolving and kind of moving along.
That was somebody's question earlier. Do you sell on different channels other than Amazon. So you're just now starting to do that?
Yeah, because, you know, my Amazon business is close to $1 million. And, you know, I've been sitting pretty on it because, heck, I've done a good job with automating it and finding great products. And when you're making a lot of money per month, you don't feel the need to go out and do something else. But I have always had this little bit of fear in my heart that if something ever happens, if Amazon for whatever reason wants to kick me off of the site, there goes my entire business. And that's not the way that I want to be able to sleep at night. So I've started to partner with some people, just kind of learning from them, going to different conferences and just kind of playing around. It's almost like me starting 7 years ago on Amazon. I had no clue what I was doing, but I kept at it and I kept learning. And so that's the process that I'm going through right now. And I can do that.
She's doing $1 million, almost $1 million a year, and she didn't know how to get Chrome on her Mac.
Oh my God. I'm the worst tech person in the world. I'm like, how do I download Chrome so I can be on this webinar?
Exactly. We couldn't get her on our trial. We couldn't even get a trial webinar going. It took us 3 days.
Anyone can do this, people, because I can't. I don't even have, I just want you to know, I don't download apps on my phone. That's how bad I am. I don't have Yelp or any of that stuff.
So is there a risk of starting a different channel, mixing the same? I mean, in other words, if you start selling the same product off-site, is there a risk in that Amazon says, wait a minute, you can't undercut the price over here on this third-party site if you're selling it over here on our site?
Nothing that I've ever heard about. Nothing that I've ever heard about. So I would encourage everyone to, you know, if once you get your Amazon going, I mean, Amazon's a great place to launch. Let's get that straight, right? If you have a new product, most people generally start off with their website, wait a few years for it to really get going. And hopefully if they're not burned out or if they haven't run out of money, then great, they're experiencing success. Amazon, you throw up an item and within 3 months, you can have an awesome item making tons of money. And now people are working at the reverse where they're getting it going on Amazon, then starting a separate e-commerce account, their own website. So
Adam says, how can you eat without Yelp?
How can I eat without Yelp? I know. I like to walk around and people, my friends get upset with me because I like ask questions to people. I'm like, I still like talking to people. I don't just have to look at my phone and know what's great to eat around here.
All right, we got to keep buzzing. It's 2 hours right now. I think this is going to be one of the longest ones because we still got a lot of questions.
Go ahead.
You guys, there's a few people that have peeled off the webinar, but typically what they're going to come back to do is watch the replay. Are you still running your business by yourself? If so, at what point do you think you will consider hiring help? That's a good question.
You know, if you can continue to fine tune your business and automate it, ideally, you may not need to go and hire, like I don't need to go and hire a warehouse worker. What I might need to do that a good friend suggested to me recently was maybe I want to find a virtual assistant.
I was about to say that. Just do the mundane stuff.
To help me do the like, hey, this is the criteria that I use for looking for new items, do the basic work. All
right, let's do a debrief then. You're doing almost $1 million a year in sales. How much time, and you have 8 or 12 products and you're introducing 3 or 4 or 5 a month. How much time do you spend a week in your business that you say, this is business task that I'm taking time to do right now?
It's not too much. The reason, okay, so
you're honest, she's not answering the question.
I know, because it's just one of those things. It's like if I wake up today and I say I want to go to the store or go get a haircut or do this and that, then I just decide I'm not working because my Amazon business, I don't really need to look at it. My items don't change, the numbers don't change too much. There's not a lot of competition. I could let it run. What I do when I wake up is I say, okay, do I need to go source a new item right now? Do I want to start sourcing a new item? Do I want to put more data research together so in another 2 months I have another product ready to go? Or like as of right now, what I'm doing is I'm going and watching videos of how to sell outside of Amazon. So Amazon on its own, I could spend, if I want, 7 hours a week and it's still running at the same capacity, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you want to put into it, but I guess the reason I asked that question, I just want to know how much does it demand your time versus how much do you want to put into it, and that's 2 different
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah, no, it doesn't demand too much of my time at all. I have my vendors in China labeling all my products, and I have them drop shipping it to Amazon. So it pretty much is I make a payment to them, and they give me
After
the
you
tracking
vetted them
number.
for a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now this has been now a few years that I've been working with these vendors. So they help me out a great deal. And now they even send me emails with like items that they've noticed is selling really well in the US, which helps cut my time down in research work.
Do you add new vendors over time, or you kind of stick with the guys you have now?
I have 4 main vendors, and I don't feel a need right now to go and find new vendors because there's enough opportunity with those 4. I mean, if I had $1 million in my bank account, then yeah, I would go looking for new vendors and spreading more capital on Amazon.
You should start saving some of your money if you don't have $1 million yet, Pilar.
How would I have product-based business?
Henry wants to know how much are you doing in sales a month. Well, if you're doing almost $1 million a year, you're doing almost 80,000 a month.
Well,
70.
Yes and no, because a lot of my my revenues per year comes in fourth quarter.
Well, it spikes, but on average, yeah. If you're doing $1 million a year, you're doing about 80,000.
60,
but it goes
65
up.
Throughout. I knew that that was going to come up. People do want to know that. It's about 60 to 65 per month, and fourth quarter is where I really hit it big.
Okay, this is a good question that David has. You're sourcing products for a price to sell for a profit. Have you run into any instances where your source stopped providing inventory to sell it for themselves? In other words, cut you out.
Yeah, no, that is always a fear when I get a new vendor to do the drop shipping straight to Amazon's warehouse for me. It is a fear, which is why I wait a year, but I have not had a vendor yet go in and use my same item on my listing or start a new listing. But I mean, I'm sure that it happens. I knock on wood, it hasn't happened to me yet.
Maria says, Pilar, you're awesome. I want to say I'm looking into the future. I'm looking into the future me, and I look great, and my sales are awesome.
That's
Smiley
awesome.
face.
That's
and
awesome.
Then good night. She just left us.
Oh, good night. Thank you, Maria. I appreciate that. And if you guys need, I'm always open to answering questions, helping as much as I can. Feel free to email me, shoot me a Facebook message. I'll go ahead and answer you as best as I can.
All right. Did you ever put your thing up there?
Oh, is it? Do you guys see it or no? I thought I did.
Yeah, there it is.
I tell you,
okay.
me and technology.
It's there. Yeah, it's there.
There we go.
Okay. Troy, what's the best way to filter through products to quickly test? Do you suggest AliExpress for this filtering process? I think this is probably an older question. We kind of did that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah, AliExpress, that's how I started. If you want to start that way, awesome. Otherwise, go to like Michael's and start bundling stuff and get started that way.
If your products are proven to sell on Amazon, why don't you sell them to websites like No More Rack, Groupon, Living Social? Why do you stay away from them?
It's not that I'm trying to stay away from them. I think I just mentioned this too, is you get comfortable and comfortable is not a good place to be, but when you know that you're doing really well in something and you're making enough money and there's no need, then you're not looking at other things. So now I am, only because I don't want to just be on Amazon. So now I am looking at Groupon. Actually was one of the main ones too that I was thinking about. So we'll see how that goes in the next year or two.
Pam says you are inspirational, and then Alex says this has been great. I'll buy the coffees next time in the BK. Is that Brooklyn?
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I'm happy that you guys are finding this beneficial to you.
If your products are proven, okay, we'll just ask that one. Kay, do you have separate accounts to distinguish the PL products? We've already answered that. Pilar, what categories do you stay away from or have had bad experience? That's a good one.
I haven't had a necessarily bad experience in a particular category. I do absolutely stay away from electronics. It's a general fear that I have that I'm going to get defective items. It might be a mental thing, but I do stay away from electronics.
No, there's lots of other experts that teach that same criteria on that. Don't do. I mean, maybe, and you've been in it for 7 years and you still stay away from it. But
yeah, I think find some good categories. Go ahead.
Have you, friends or family members, started selling on Amazon because of how successful you've been?
I've had a lot of friends over the years, actually more so recently, want to know how to sell on Amazon because I think
flying around the world.
And you know what?
Working. You don't work. You don't do any work.
That's exactly what it looks like, right? So the first few years, it looked like I was a bum, and so no one asked me any questions.
You're in your PJ, researching online.
Yeah, but now that I'm doing this whole, Facebook thing, I've been getting a lot more inquiries from my friends, and it's kind of funny because they just didn't even realize that I was doing the amount that I was doing on Amazon. They just kind of thought that I was shipping out boxes from my house here and there. So yeah, I've been getting a lot more inquiries for people to help to get their Amazon business going.
Okay, Steve says, do you put customer service number on products or do you put a website on product? In other words, do you do inserts or do you try to collect information? Do you try to get people to contact you?
Yeah, so again, this is a new thing. These are newer things that I'm trying out this year. I don't have a toll-free number, anything of that sort. I do sell a variety of items, so that's why I'm opening up the next account to start doing the inserts. As of right now, I actually don't do any inserts. But that's why I'm opening up the next account to do all the inserts, to do it the proper way that this day and age, if you were to start off right now in this time, it would actually move a lot faster.
David says, what kind of labeling do you apply to your products that the consumer gets? Manuals, pamphlets, or just business card? I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. But that's just so you guys know, that's one of the bad things that I don't do, right? Because I do.
Are you saying you're being just lazy?
I tell you, Jake, I swear doing this and knowing that you can do it highly efficient, right? You're doing it efficiently and you don't see a need to do anything more. You do get lazy. Let's just put it out there. I can go fly around, go to a different country and source slowly and do my thing and not worry about all these other things.
Okay, I want you to do a test. This would be a good blog article for you. Is pick out one of your products that are selling like automatic pilot and come up with an insert or something, a postcard in there or something that drives them to a website that has a video of how to use the product or product manual or whatever, and test it and see if you do see any sales. I mean, if you do want to, I think one of the things that Scott Volker, who has the Amazing Seller podcast, is toying with the same thing, is he'd like to collect those email addresses. You have to be careful how you do it.
Yes.
But you're allowed to put an insert in. If your website's there and they go to your website and you capture their email, now you've got a real customer that when you launch a new product, that could be your test bed of, I need you've bought one of my products before. I'd love for you to review my product. I want to send it to you and give you a discount or free or whatever.
All right, so I'll let you in a little bit of the stuff that I'm working on now, because this is all actually current stuff that I'm working on in different ways.
We're getting a drop. We're getting a scoop.
It's just, you don't always want to talk about something yet that you're still testing out. But
I got you.
Yeah, so if you're on my Facebook business page, I think a lot of people have heard about me talk about Pinterest marketing. Pinterest is a big thing that e-commerce sellers are doing. If you start a website, you can get you can put up your products on your website and then apply for product rich pins from Pinterest. And so when you post that product on Pinterest, it actually bolds the price and you can actually sell your items. But also there's a lot of benefits to doing your website and having a Pinterest account. A lot of people are selling e-commerce by doing content marketing. You write a blog post that has to do with whatever.
Here's how to get the best skin tone with different scrubbing products, and then they come to they read the article, and then you happen to sell one of them.
So content marketing right now is the big thing in e-commerce, and also having a Facebook group dedicated to that product line, which I do have another Facebook page now that I'm testing out, and I am testing out some Pinterest stuff. So guys, hopefully I'll have something to you guys, but it's taken me some time to go through the ups and downs the same way that you guys are starting on Amazon. I'm a complete newbie on this other side of things, and I'm going through the up and downs, and I'll tell you how much I lost and how much I made, and hopefully it won't be too much of a loss.
Kay is asking, if you're selling low-priced items and you want to grow your monthly revenue, would you focus on growing daily sales of existing product line? And if so, how? Or would you add new higher-ticket products to your catalog or offerings? That is kind of like the opportunity cost of time and money. What should you do?
Yeah. You know, for me personally, if you have an item that's selling, I mean, it depends on how fast this item is selling or not. You could do a lot of different marketing, but if you're just on Amazon, it's going to be kind of hard to just market this low priced item. What I would do is I'd find a higher ticket item and just kind of, you know, market that one a little bit better. I have an item, and I mentioned this one again, the one that just kind of fits in an envelope. That one item makes me, I think, a little bit less than $1,000 a month. And then I have other items like the toy line that, you know, makes me $3,000 a month. And then I have a few other lines that do well be above that number. And I find that having a nice spread of like low end items and higher end items tend to work very well and averaging out a good profit. I would add another item, but that's just me. Someone else might say work on the marketing on the first item, but that's just my opinion.
Good answer. Henry says, thank you so much for taking your time even this late at the night. I subscribe to your Facebook page, and hopefully we can get a Brooklyn meetup. Thanks so much, and have a great night, guys.
Thank you, Henry. I'll if you Brooklynites message me or put something on my Facebook, I'll get a group of us started so we can get together.
Troy says, can you explain how to do rich pins? This is probably not the venue to do that. Send her a blog comment or email. Maybe she'll do that there.
Google rich pins, Pinterest. It pops up very easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to marry you, because you said you need somebody that's like equal. I think I could think of, but I'm already married. So
I was going to say, Jake, you're married, so we can't.
I could convert to Mormon. You
can convert to Mormon. I don't know that I'm up for that game plan, but
okay. All right. Well, all right. It's not going to work. Dadgummit. Avery says, thank you, Pilar. If there is a chance, definitely would like to visit you, since I'm also in New York.
Sweet. Good stuff, guys.
Right. Guys, this has been one of the longest. We're a little over 16 minutes after the 2-hour mark. I want to thank everybody for showing up. You've got Pilar's Facebook group up there. Did you put your blog?
It's pilarnewman.com. It should be. It's right. I'm looking at it, but hopefully you guys are.
Is it on there? Okay. Oh, yeah, it is on there. Both of them's on there. Okay. Will you be going to the CES 3 in Louisville?
I'm not even.
Okay. I missed that. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, that is Jim Cochran, and this is all about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I follow all sorts of e-commerce people.
It's already sold out. It sold out within 24 hours. Thank you so much. Great mentor, Steve says. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate all that. Thanks, Jake. I gotta thank you. All right, that's cool. Anyway, hey, I do appreciate you guys coming on these things. This thing started like informal with like 6 or 7 of us just chatting with each other.
Yeah.
And it's grown tremendously. And if you guys like what you've done, like you see tonight, make sure you come back. You will be getting emails from me, from Jake Robinson, RVP at Gmail, coming from Get Response for the next webinar. So when you see that, don't trash can it, look at it, and okay, it's the next webinar, the next Amazon Live Hangout. I've got a couple people coming up. Mark Ramos, he is a guy living in China. Actually, he consults to Chinese manufacturing companies to show them how to market their products online.
Oh, awesome.
And he's got a lot of he's been at the Canton Fair for the last month. Then a couple weeks from now, I've got my good buddy James Amazio. He actually does he just launched a new review sourcing site, the API that fits in with Amazon, so that you can set up automatic campaigns from your sales to encourage people to leave feedback and reviews. You've heard of Feedback 5 or Feedback Genius.
Feedback Genius, yeah, all that stuff.
This is the next big thing, Feedbacks with a Z, and I think he's gonna. He's a great coder. I think he's got figured out how to. So we're going to have an interview with him. Those are coming up soon. If you guys don't have anything, Adam says you rock. Hit me up. when you're in California, I'll buy you lunch.
Oh, I was just in California last week. We just missed each
Adam,
other.
Adam, are you single, brother?
Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Emily says,
Very
great
flattering.
info.
Thank
Thank you. Lena says, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Jess says, thank you, Jake and Pilar. Have a good night. Wonderful stuff. Hey, guys, appreciate it. Any last words of encouragement or anything if you have on your heart before we?
Yeah, sure. First off, Jake, I really want to thank you, by the way, because you do put out some really good content with these Hangouts. I've seen a couple of them, and like, there's always a place, there's always learning going on. So I myself watched some of your Hangouts. Thank you for putting your time and effort into this. And for those of you guys out there, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I mean, hopefully you guys took away some really good stuff that's going to help you in your Amazon business. I just want to let those of you know that if you don't have that much money, I get it. I absolutely get it. You know, I'm one of those people that did grow up in the projects, which is why if you look at my Facebook profile, you do see the little hustle sign. It's just one of those things that's always been in me since I've been young, growing up on food stamps and stuff like that. So there is an opportunity out there. If that means that you just have to hand make something for now and spend a little bit more time to try to figure out how Amazon works, then go ahead and do that. But surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are rooting for your success. And just remember, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of downs. But if you just weather through a lot of those storms, believe me, you can get to this point. Never did I think that I was going to get to this point, and here I am. So again, thank you guys. And again, thank you, Jake, for everything.
And I really enjoyed getting to know you, Pilar. I think that we're going to cross paths more than once on a webinar. I look forward to hearing more of your success. I'm going to follow your blog. I've learned a lot from your blog already. So
awesome.
Look forward to seeing what you've got in store. I know you've got some, you're like a 3-card Monty. You don't know what's going to show up.
I don't know.
So anyway, hey guys,
awesome.
We're going to call it a night. We'll see you on the next webinar. I'll be looking for a replay in about 24 hours. And if you have any suggestions for an upcoming guest, if you know somebody who is successful on Amazon that's selling, or maybe they're an expert in shipping, or there's lots of different areas around that we want to talk about, please send me an email and recommend them. I'd love to chat with them. Somebody in a Facebook group. If you're in a Facebook group, share the replay link on your Facebook group so people can learn more about. There's lots of people out there that have no idea that we do these things. Yeah. And we usually, we had about 104 people on tonight, but I've got about, more than that could come. So we had like 280 people who had registered for this. So anyway, with that, we're done. We'll see you on the flip side. Have a great night, guys.
Great. See you guys.